Welcome to VaevakBlitz, How to Play, Episode 1, T1 Cunningham. Today we're going to be looking at the T1 Cunningham, a great Tier 1 vehicle capable of doing a lot of damage in both Tier 1 and Tier 2. This map is fantastic for the T1 Cunningham. The hiding spots are plenty. The entire tank can be concealed with one of these bushes. And right now we're actually on the way to one of my favorite hideouts ever. Basically, I can just perch myself up here slowly. Take a look. Wait for that indicator to pop. Nobody's seen me. But here, I'm able to look out over the entire battlefield, at least on this side of the map. And, whoop, spotted someone. Take a couple of shots at him. I got one due to the dispersion, but I'm able to just back up perfectly behind this wall. You can even see I saw other tanks over there pop out. Oh, the entire enemy team is over here. All 6 of them. The 7th guy, of course, is the light tractor shooting at me. So, as you can see, the light tractor, the guy that's shooting at me, he's doing the same exact thing I am. He's just going forward up the embankment. He would have to drop all the way down. And you can see the entire team. Oh, he's finally taking cues from me, but not the same way. Missed every shot. But now you see this T1 Cunningham getting a little bit anxious and going into my next rules here. So as you can see, we have 1 through 5. This is going to be the order at which I'm going to need to take out all of these opponents. If I'm going to be trying to kill 5, 1 through 4 is going to be firing at me, and so on down the line. So you're going to watch me here once I turn the clip back on. You're going to watch me go in the order. So we're going to take out the T1 Cunningham first, moved on to the light tractor, and then so on and so forth with all those enemies over there with 3, 4, and 5. T1 is coming up. I'm barely exposing myself to cover except for with him. Firing all 3 of my shots into his turret. And waiting safely behind the wall for the reload. Pulling out, doing the same thing. He starts to run. Fire, miss. Get him again, just up above. And right in the center for the kill. So now we just reload, look around, assess the battle, and do the same thing. We killed 1, let's move on to 2. So 2 is the light tractor, doing something very similar to what we're doing. Being quite successful. Of course, I miss one of my shots, but I put him in a position where he's extremely low on health, so that's fantastic. Waiting for my reload. That's the light tractor. I'm safe. Move on to 3. 3 now is 4, and 4 now becomes 3. If you can all catch this, it's quite confusing. I'm sitting here probably on the safest place I could be. Even though I have only 23 hit points, he cannot fire past this wall. Sneak out, probably shouldn't have. He could have shot me. But once I hear all of his rounds are dispersed, I'm able to peek out and do some serious damage without taking any damage myself. Now keep in mind, I'm pulling out just enough to attack him, leaving the other guy unable to get a clear shot of me. You can see that by how the wall is. I'm going to fire at him, kill him, and I got 1 bullet left in the chamber. So since I won't be firing it in more than 11 seconds, I fired at him and then start my reload. And we're doing the same thing. Instead of this guy being number 3 or number 4, whichever one he was, he's now number 1. And now that M1 medium would actually be number 1 because he's behind a wall. And this guy hiding behind this tank, fire right into his track. My buddy must have stolen the kill though. You can see the damage popping up. And this guy actually doesn't come back behind the wall, at least enough for me to kill him. So this is going to be the end of this clip. You actually see me bounce off the shot, and that was my last round, which is why you should always reload, which you can always reload by double tapping the ammo button where you can change your ammos. You don't even have to have different ammos. If you just double tap that, it starts your whole reload. It can save your life. If you don't have any bullets in your gun, you're going to have a bad day. So that is a fantastic example of what I recommend to do on Fort Despair. This is not the only tactic, of course, but as you can see, it's extremely successful and definitely won us the game. Another thing, while I did not get more kills significantly than anybody else, 550 damage is fantastic considering that I was pinned down the entire time. This allowed me to essentially get the entire team corralled into one location, allowing even the derpiest of teammates to fire off shots however they can. Well, that was a lot of fun. Now let's take a look at Copperfield. I am the only T1. I'm the only Tier 1 vehicle in this Tier 2 battle. Even the enemy team is all Tier 2s, and I am the only Tier 1 tank even on my team. So this is going to be a really rough match. I'm still rocking the 37 semi-automatic. It's a great gun. Actually, all three guns are pretty good. I wouldn't recommend the Tier 1 gun for Tier 2, but still able to survive this match. Though no help from the gun depression, at least at this particular shot. But luckily my teammates took care of the PC-35. So right now I'm going to bust through this wall purposely, wasting a few of my shots, just so I can see and fire upon anybody on that other side. Of course, that doesn't really matter in this. We get completely overrun. I'm a little bit over half health, I believe. Come out here, have the courage to try to get some fire upon him. Luckily, the Panzerjäger took care of that guy. But I gotta leave the location quickly, and the fastest way is backwards, at least in this case. You'll see that I do not stop moving until I get safely behind this large patch of gravel, to which I just stop, turn around, and move forward. So I'm going to speed past this. I really don't do anything here for a while, except for basically stay alive. And really, this is something that you're gonna have to end up doing. This is a very dangerous spot to be in down below here in the pit. The reason I came down here is because there's a lot of cover. This guy, this giant tank, which is a very small tank, I can hide right behind its carcass. And take a look here. The Panzerjäger comes up, clipped him at the top. What a great shot. And flew right above him, so that was a pretty good grouping. This gun is fantastic. I've gotten multiple masteries because of it. However, keep in mind I've gotten multiple masteries with the just regular 20mm, I believe, autoloader, which is a very fast and actually the higher DPM gun, which is damage per minute, which I'll go into that later on in some other video of why that is and isn't important. Really, the most important part, though, at least in this particular clip, is staying alive. It seems like I'm not doing anything. Really, I'm not, but I am moving towards the entire conglomerate of my team. I actually pull a pretty sick kill still here. I'm going to steal that right from their noses. BT2 doesn't like me too much. He fires at me. I don't blame him. But, you know, this game where we were set up to basically fail from the beginning, 191 damage, 2 kills, and was able to stay alive. So this game is a little bit different than what you were probably expecting. This is, of course, mines. We're racing up the hill at 2 times the speed. If you're wondering why my tank is so fast, I've just sped the video up, going straight up the hill as we're supposed to. Now the difference you may notice if you're particularly savvy at this game You may notice that I only have the first tier turret, and that means I only have the first tier gun. That's right, I'm using the worst gun for this tank, this T1, and I'm going to put it to some test. So basically the point is I'm just showing you exactly what this tank is capable of. And it's a very simple thing. It doesn't have a large amount of armor. It does have pretty decent speed, especially for compared to its other tiered enemies. And it's got a great gun, which allows it. It's got 3 great guns, really. Allows you to just do things like this. And of course, it's going to be low tier. So a lot of these people that I'm firing upon, bless their souls, you know, they just don't know to move out of the way sometimes. But that really just doesn't allow them much room here, except for trying to meander up this hill and get shot at slowly by this gun popping away every 5 seconds. It's the same gun as the 37 millimeter. It's actually a 37 millimeter gun, which makes it quite effective. But it's just a lot slower than its semi-automatic variant. Of course, the reload speed is about 3 times less, so I'm not a mathematician yet, but I would assume that it does roughly the same amount of damage. The point is that there's not just one particular way of playing this tank. I would say that the best way of playing it is just to keep out of sight. It's a very low profile tank. You can hide it in the strangest places. It's just absolutely crazy where you can hide. And that's really its best defense. It is so small, it is agile enough to get you where you need to go. And when you get there, you just hit them just like that. You back up behind a wall. Something so trivial and small. And you're able to just reload from the safety of the wall, back out. And he just doesn't know any better. Straight for the kill. It's honestly something that you're going to be doing a lot, even at higher tier games. I noticed myself doing that. The highest tier I've been so far is tier 6, and that's definitely playing a lot more of a role than really anything. It's just finding cover. But really finding the cover is what's difficult at higher tiers. And this, you're able to use almost anything as cover. And you can see even with the tier 1 gun, I mopped up and did more damage than anybody else, and fired a lot of shots too at the same time. So it was a pretty intense battle, at least for using the gun. But hey, that's the T1 Cunningham in all of its glory. That little T1 gun, just remarkable. Really, how simple a tier 1 tank can be, and yet look at it here. But hey. This has been VaevakBlitz. I'm Vaevak, and this has been How to Play. Subscribe if you liked. I plan on making more of these videos going forward, primarily with low-tier tanks. So this is definitely not the end. In fact, I plan on doing all Tier 1 vehicles. And going forward, it's been a pleasure, and thanks you so much for watching.